with Carol Dixon is all about life and how to live that life positively, productively, and prayerfully. After decades of ministry, Dr. Dixon is qualified to address any topic of life from a biblical perspective. Let's listen now as Dr. Dixon comes forth.
Well, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Do you know valleys are a part of life? I want to talk about that today in this little time that I have. Psalms 23:4. It says, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. In Israel, on the road from Jerusalem to Jericho, there's a canyon called the Valley of the Shadow of Death. In King David's day, he probably traveled through it many times. I've gone to Jerusalem. I've gone over there to Israel. And you walk on top of the bus drives on top of it, but you look down, it's real steep. It could be as tall as 800 feet to get to the bottom. I'm sure King David definitely did. He traveled it many times. And some of the canyons along the road to Jericho were narrow at the bottom and tall as 800 feet, as I said, at the top. That's how much distance it was. And then you could look down at it and you could see why it was always problems and always trouble and always conflict, because that's where the thieves would be, because you could not see. The only time you could see sunshine at the bottom, and that's where they walked back then. They walked the valley of the shadow of death, was at noon when the sun was straight overhead. And in the Bible, valleys, they are often a metaphor for times of darkness and despair and defeat and discouragement. But Psalms 23:4 says, even though I walk through the valley, the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Oh, that's so good. You know, the Bible teaches that God is not just a part of your mountaintop experiences. He is also with you in the valleys. So there are three things you need to remember about valleys. Number one, valleys are a part of your life. They are part of life, period. The Bible says in Deuteronomy 11:11, the land you will soon take over is a land of hills and valleys. Valleys are inevitable. You likely just came out of a valley, are in the middle of one right now, or are headed into another one. There's no way to avoid valleys while you're on this earth. Instead, you can count on them and know that God is with you. Number two, valleys happen to everybody. They're impartial. Good things happen to bad people, and bad things happen to good people. We live in a fallen and broken world, so we have problems. Nobody's immune. Nobody's insulated from pain. Nobody sails through life problem-free. The Bible says the good man does not escape all troubles. He has them too, but the Lord helps him in each and every one. That's Psalms 34:19. Third thing I want you to remember, valleys are unpredictable. You can't plan them. You can't time them. Problems typically catch you off guard. In fact, your valleys and your problems usually come at the worst times, when you don't have time, when you're unprepared, and when it's inconvenient. Wouldn't it be easier if you could schedule all your valleys when you're caught up on your sleep, your health is good, and nobody is bugging you? But life doesn't work that way. Proverbs 27:1 reminds us, don't brag about tomorrow, since you don't know what the day will bring. When you know what to expect in the valleys of life, you know how to better prepare for them and keep trusting in God's presence and provision. So remember, valleys are a part of life. Valleys happen to everybody. Valleys are unpredictable. Valleys are a part of life. I am Carol Dixon, and this is Dash.
We know you have been inspired. Your faith has been built, giving you a new perspective. Tell someone about Dash with Carol Dixon podcast. Someone you know needs to tune in. We're always on 24/7. Spread the word, won't you? We're helping you and many others with a positive, productive, and prayerful word. Thank you for joining us today. Take a moment now to leave a rating, review, and subscribe to our podcast app. On behalf of the entire team, thanks for listening to Dash with Carol Dixon.